Welcome to Navigating Life with Vision Loss, an Aftersight original podcast. In each episode, we share stories, insights, and practical advice to help you navigate the journey of living with low vision or blindness. Together, we'll embrace each step with courage, grace, and hope.
Hello, I'm Kim Wardlow, and I'm your host for Navigating Life with Vision Loss. We are getting near the end of our series on advocacy. So this is our 15th week out of 16. If you haven't listened to the previous episodes, I encourage you to do that. We've covered all sorts of different topics from individual advocacy, education, legislative, all sorts of things. Last week we covered youth advocacy, so both advocating for our youth, but also teaching youth how to advocate for themselves. And today I am joined by Melissa Green, who I've known for years and years, kind of through one aspect with her roles in the NFB. So I'm excited to talk with her and learn a little bit more about her as we're covering healthcare and advocacy in healthcare, and just issues that may arise, barriers that may arise, and how to deal with those. So Melissa, welcome to NLVL.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So I know you've done different things. I know you recently started a new position. You've been a teacher. You've been a director of a Montessori. You've done many different things. Do you want to just provide a little bit of background about yourself for our listeners?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey. I was one of the first few visually impaired blind kids to be mainstreamed at the time. That was in 1974. And I'm a graduate of UNC, graduate of the Colorado Center for the Blind. And yeah, I have a full life. I'm just don't know where to show my talents.
Well, I know you have many talents, and I know that you've had quite a bit of experience in the healthcare system, which is not necessarily something you would have wanted, but I think it will. Your insights will benefit our listeners. So thank you for coming on and being willing to talk about some of the experiences you've had and maybe be able to provide some advice and tips to help our listeners maybe not have some of the same difficulties. What have been common physical barriers, communication barriers, as you've gone through kind of your healthcare journey of needing to be in doctor's offices or hospitals and things like that?
My healthcare journey has been really up and down. I've had positive experiences, but then I have lots of negative experiences. The most recent ones was an accidental overdose in 3 years ago, and because they gave me the wrong medicine, and yeah, they gave me 200 milligrams of a medication that I was taking, and I was only supposed to take 20 milligrams.
Oh wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, so I ended up overdosing and nearly leaving this earth, basically. And just the way I was treated, because the drug I was taking was prescribed, but it makes you, if they perform like any drug test, it blows, as they say, it blows hot from methamphetamine.
Oh.
So I had people yelling at me and trying to figure out how did I get the meth. They stuck me in a room near other detoxing people, and it just was, and I had no idea what was going on or why I was so sick. But I got out of, I came out of it and I survived. And, it's that's just one thing with healthcare. They treat me like I'm a child. They talk to everyone else. They don't want to fill out paperwork or help me fill it out. So it's it's a lot. And sometimes my depression gets on me, and yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's just a big disconnect in what you were needing as a patient and what they were
Yes.
doing. And obviously, not being able to know that you were taking the wrong dosage. Now, I know now they do have readers or pharmacies have a way so folks can listen to the
Not yet.
not yet.
July 1st.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's taken a
And
really long time because they've been talking about it for some time.
they passed the bill last year before the end of the session, and then they were trying to figure out grants and stuff for pharmacies, mom and pop pharmacies. And I have a flyer that they've been asking to be circulated to pharmacies and doctor's offices and things like that.
And what will that allow you to do? Like in the situation you had, if you'd had that technology at the time, would that have prevented you from taking that medicine?
Yeah, because it would have told me exactly what the milligrams were. And I could feel the difference, but I knew it was a different, and I kept calling the pharmacist, and they basically blew me off and yelled at me and told me, take it as directed. So I am very passionate about this law.
Yes, I think that's a huge step. So is it a device you're given by the pharmacy?
Yes, it's called Script Talk. It's through Envision America, and they also put Braille on the bottles, and it has a little sticker on the bottom. You can sit on the machine, and it'll talk.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, and that's so significant to just know you're taking the right, not just the right medication, but the right dosage, because mistakes do happen. But also as discouraging that when you call the pharmacy and say, I think I have the wrong prescription, that they did not really check and did not take you seriously.
Yeah. And I can disclose that we did have litigation, and I won. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, well, that's why I won't ask you any details, but that's good to know, because that sets some precedent as well, which always helps.
Well, and I learned a lot too. Like Colorado has a cap, and they put my blindness on trial. Basically, they tried to, but I had some wonderful lawyers.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, if a person is going into a medical appointment, even if it's just a regular doctor's visit, if they feel like they're not really being heard or they're needing assistance, what guidance would you give on self-advocating during a doctor's appointment and just speaking up for yourself?
You're gonna run into doctors that think you're different because you're blind or low vision. So, like my example is the doctor who asked me, because I was having some female problems, and she asked me, "How do you know you're bleeding? You can't see." And that just drove me.
That's
Yeah.
just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
really need to see
Yeah.
to know that.
And I have learned to advocate for myself since I was 4. So, but I was taken aback. But you just gotta communicate with them. Like I had to say, um, I can't see you, so you need to tell me where the wheelchair is, or don't yell at me. Last year when I fell in my parking lot, face first,
Ooh.
yeah. So I had to tell the little nurse's aide, okay, it's nice, just don't yell at me. So you have to be diligent. And I think it takes practice because we see doctors as authoritative figures. I
Mhm.
think we should start with kids at a young age. Then when they get to be an adult like me, they can handle it.
Yeah, I think we all may hesitate to challenge doctors or question them, but certainly I think that can be compounded if a person is blind or has low vision and feel like people are not treating them, as an adult or as a competent person.
Yeah. And if you get into situations like mine, they're going to put your blindness on trial. They're going to put your caregivers on trial. And they don't, like, the company did not believe, and neither did the pharmacy, that it was their fault, their mistake.
Even though they're the ones who had handed you the bottle with the wrong pills in
It
it.
was in the bag, and they said my caregiver should have opened the bag. And my response was, sighted people never open their bags until they get home. Why should I have to do that as a blind person?
Mhm. What advice could you give in and you've given at least one example of navigating awkward conversations or addressing assumptions people are making that are not correct?
Yeah, and I've been in it so long, I have to think a second. But I would say at least take someone with you. That doesn't mean you're any way not independent. Take someone with you. So in case there's paperwork to fill out, or you just need someone to be there and help you take notes. I also record my doctor sometimes,
Mhm.
and I always ask for a copy of the summary of my visit, and I ask a lot of questions. So if, like, the situation when I was asked if how do I know I was bleeding, I was like, what? But I think that taught me a lesson to talk about it with people, and to really think, okay, people aren't going to see me as human, or they see me as second class citizenship.
Mhm.
So I really believe it's okay to take someone with you, or to record your doctor's appointments, or to get a summary of your visit.
Definitely. And if you're not able to take someone with you, or if you don't have someone with you to help with paperwork or things like that,
They are required by law to help you fill that out.
and people need
That's
to
an
ask for those
accommodation.
accommodations.
And then if you have a service dog, it's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother layer. Have you had issues then taking your dog into medical buildings?
Well, because some other dogs have been in there, because people, and my doctor had to say one time, "Oh no, PJ is a guide dog and a service dog." So, and they were talking about how well behaved she was.
Yeah,
Hmm.
of course she's well behaved.
And that's another thing. It's hard when PJ got very sick and I had to take her to Colorado State to the veterinary hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and they were kind of pushy.
Oh.
And thank goodness the psychologist stepped in and said, no, we got to we'll do what you want. This is your dog. And they said, we're not going to charge you. Well, I got bill, and then they sent it to a collection agency.
Mm.
So I had to fight with that, and through my grief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's just unnecessary battles you're having to fight when you're already in a very difficult situation.
Yeah, or the vet that put her under at age 13 and then told me I couldn't have her and that she was going to call the police on me because I said I was coming to get her. I said, wake her up. I'm bringing her home.
Mm.
And I'm glad I did. She lived 6 weeks, almost 3 months later. She was
wow.
still alive. So,
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you do have a caregiver of some sort, whether it's a friend or a professional caregiver that is coming with you, community ally to help support you, what is their role?
Their role is to tell you, okay, we got to fill out this form or that form to help you sign, to explain, in some cases, explain what the doctor's doing, tell you what the vital signs are. This is my caregiver. Basically, you need to be more cognizant and in charge of this is your healthcare, not your caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
That you need to teach your caregivers to have people talk to you, not them. And that's a big one right there.
Yeah, I think that's very common that people will talk to the person with the person who is low vision or blind as opposed to talking to them directly and
Yeah.
expecting them to answer.
And my one of my caregivers is blind, and that throws them off because they're that's not supposed to be that way.
They're very confused. Two blind people, what will they do?
Yeah, just like the airport when they come, oh, you're blind, here's a wheelchair. I threw it off because I have my own wheelchair.
I think that's important to, set the expectations with your caregiver. Obviously, if it's somebody you've worked with or known for many years, you have that established, but then establishing kind of those ground rules with your healthcare provider or providers. It seems like that you're having to do a lot of education, especially because I think most of us have more than one doctor. And if you've had health issues, there's doctor's offices and there's hospitals and all sorts of things. So it seems like it's a lot of retelling and educating others, which can be burdensome.
And then like I have a clotting disorder. And right now I'm having to give myself shots. So you have to be diligent and spoken so they can give you the right, lessons on how to do it. And the caregiver needs to know how to do it. But I have a great doctor who he went to school with a blind person. And so he learned how to explain things. And
well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
If a person feels like their doctor or their doctor's office is not providing accommodations or is not communicating in a appropriate way, at what point? I mean, yes, you need to advocate for yourself, but at what point do you think
that's when you need
to look for somebody else or do something?
Yeah, you need to either. I always encourage people. There's always a second opinion, and there's always a complaint process. like I filed a complaint against the woman who said, "How do you know you're bleeding?"
What is that process like if somebody feels like they're at a point that they need to file a complaint?
Um, it it depends on if it's like, for example, in Greeley, there we have Banner Health. So I called the each healthcare place has a number that you can call and file a complaint. And also, a lot of people don't know this, but your GP, if he's real good and understands about blindness, which I'm lucky, will file a complaint for you.
Oh,
Hmm.
I did not know that. So hopefully a person has a good doctor and a good team.
And always get a second opinion. If you feel like one doctor isn't telling you right, it, not doctors are human.
Mhm. Yes. What other kinds of supports can you recommend to people? I mean, certainly you search for the healthcare providers that may be more understanding and supportive. If you have a caregiver, family members, friends, how do you build that kind of network to help support you with healthcare, especially if you have significant health issues?
Yeah, and I've had to build a support system. It's kind of hard at first, but I call it Team Melissa. So you need to have your team Kim or team Jonathan, team Penny, or
Yeah.
and that's your caregivers, your doctors, and everyone is on the same page.
Are there organizations that help to support individuals that have disabilities, with their rights in medical spaces?
Not as much as most organizations will, like for example, the NFB really did help with the prescription labels,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of have to. It's usually word of mouth with blind people. I mean, oh my God, Kim, if I could, I don't have enough hands to count the many people that said to me, "Oh yeah, that happened to my person," or "That happened to my blind person that I knew," and you know what they told me that day is to bring the bottle back and we'll fix it. So many people take the bottle back, fix it, and they sweep it under the rug.
There's no evidence, yeah, of
Yeah,
anything being
yeah.
done incorrectly.
So if you feel like, I mean, I don't mean to be malicious. Don't do it out of maliciousness, but please make sure that there's a consequence.
And are there parts of like the ADA or laws that govern what medical service providers are required to do in terms of accessibility?
That's a question. I serve on the Rocky Mountain ADA advisory board, so I've asked that question to everyone that's on it. And then I just attended a conference through the Colorado Collective Leadership Center in Colorado Springs, and it's called All Hands in Northeast Colorado. And it's also sponsored by the Colorado Health Foundation. So that's one thing I did bring up. And we're doing a year-long project where we call it language justice, but it includes disabilities and people who don't speak English,
Mm-hmm.
and how to help them break down barriers with the healthcare system and other systems where they need to navigate.
That sounds like a large undertaking, but a wonderful project. Certainly, language just would add another layer,
Hmm.
another barrier.
Yeah, and that's true. If the doctor doesn't speak English really well, or the patient doesn't, and they're blind, that's even worse in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's another big barrier.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was so amazed by the conference and the group of people, and I was the first blind person to go through it.
Oh, wow. And so are you feeling hopeful? Like there are changes that will be able to be made?
I think so. Like, we have accessible pharmacy services now, so we have another option, and they will send you the script talk machine. They will send all your medicines to you, and they take all insurance. And a lot of blind people like that better.
Mm-hmm. Well, that can be helpful if they send things to you just transportation-wise, not having to go to a pharmacy.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not too many pharmacies deliver it either.
No,
Hmm.
no, not that many. If a person does end up in a situation, they've filed a complaint, and like you, they've ended up in a litigation situation. Is there anything like the Disability Rights Education Defense Fund or any local funds or organizations that help with those legal costs, or is that all on you as the person bringing the
Well,
litigation?
for me, my legal fees came out of, in Colorado, no one pays. Like, if you sued someone, if I sued you, which I won't do, but
Thank you.
you would not pay, neither one of us would pay the other's attorney fees. I learned that as well as, no matter how much a jury would reward to you, you could only get $300,000.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So what I did, filed a complaint with the Northeast Medical Alliance, and they have people that will take your complaint, and then she sent it over to the management of King Supers. And then he said, "Oh, this is a wonderful idea she's given us." And then it came back to bite me.
Mm,
But there are organizations out there like that.
like that can help. At least in Colorado, I realize that this can be very state to state. So we're really talking about what you've
In
experienced in
Colorado,
Colorado.
yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Are there, you mentioned script talk that's coming out, but are there other assistive technology devices or apps or other types of
Well,
things that help?
CNAI can do a good job, but not as good as like Script Talk. And Script Talk can be an app as well on your phone. I've used Be My Eyes, and um, CNAI, Be My Eyes, and Be My Eyes AI um, are what I would use. And I love accessible pharmacy because they give me my medicines, like my inhaler, and it has Braille on it.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
And if you don't read Braille, it has a little sticker you can put it on top of the script talk machine, which is free. And some mail order companies will give it to you, like Optum does.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
That's good to know. So are there any other kind of go-to tools or tips
A
or
lot of
workarounds?
counties also do like health fairs. So if you can get to those health fairs, they will help. Like, I know there's one coming up on July 26th in Morgan County, where they're looking for participants, and it's not just medicines and doctors and stuff. It's like literacy, and like aftersight would be a good
We
a good
might have to
resource to
check that
be
out.
there. Yeah, and I just think sometimes people don't know. So I know it gets tiring to educate, but sometimes that's the best thing we can do.
And is there anything that can help? I guess you could use something to read a form, but there's not really any technology to help
And
you fill
those
out
forms,
a form.
I get them electronically sometimes.
Can you?
I my You can get them from your portal. Every place has an online portal now.
That's true. And sometimes those are challenging. Even with sight,
Yes.
it doesn't have anything to do with
Oh
sight.
my
They're
God,
just
that's
hard to
what I
get
was about
into.
to say. Yeah, I was like, well, man, I'm looking for a job there, and they need to. If I could make this a job by advocating for myself, I'd make a lot of money. Oh, I use Personal Assistance of Colorado, Pasco.
Oh, yeah.
So I hire my own caregivers, and it's a really good program. And if you can get on like long term care Medicaid, you can have, you can get emergent, they have non-emergency transportation. They have a caseworker that comes out. They pay Pasco to pay my caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
um, there's another agency called Preferred. I like them because they're small and they do a lot of in-home stuff like healthcare, occupational therapy, physical therapy, nursing, things like that too.
Sometimes the small organizations are a little more personalized.
Yeah, I could not get hardly out of my bed after my second knee replacement, and I had lots of complications.
Mm,
And then I signed up with Preferred, and by June I was starting to be able to move around more.
that's great. Well, Ms. Lissa, you shared a lot of great information with us. Certainly from your own experiences, some good, like your the doctor you have, and some obviously not so good, and challenges. Is there any final things you'd like to say to our listeners, or encouragement to them if they are facing maybe a knee replacement, or they're about to go into some medical
Surgeries,
care
yeah.
that gonna need to go through, maybe doctors, hospitals, rehab, all those things?
Always, if you're in the hospital, always have them put on the board, knock, and ask to come in and introduce yourself. And then write who you are on the board as well. Um, that's what I do. And, you know, if you have a good support system and you can build your own team, whatever your name is, and stick with the good doctors. Just don't go doctor shopping unless you feel you need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for being willing to share some of your stories and some of
You're
your
welcome.
personal life and hard things that you've gone through, because I
Yeah.
think it will help
And
others.
I'll send you that announcement about the health fair and the flyer
Oh, that'd be great.
for the pharmacy.
That would be great. Well, thank you so much. Thanks to all of our listeners. We encourage you, if you have a story that you would like to share, you can do that through our social media or through contact@aftersight.org. If you'd like to send us any comments or share your healthcare advocacy stories, we would love to hear that. Our Blind Sight podcast is about mental health. So if you would like to learn more about mental health issues, definitely tune into Blind Sight. And then our other podcasts are Blind Level Tech and the Blind Chick. If you want to hear inspirational stories about interviews with people who have vision loss or are blind, and blind level tech, of all things technology. And maybe when the script tech is out and more available in July, that could be something Evan covers in his tech podcast. That could be really interesting. So thank you for all that information, Melissa. And we hope that all of this has helped you as we come to nearly the end. And next week, we will wrap up with Dr. Charles Powell again on the future of advocacy. But we hope this series has helped you navigate your life with vision loss.